TV.com with your last show of Monday, I believe, and we're going to move to the floor on Tuesday. My next guest, what's your name, sir?
My name is Stephen Hollowell.
And what's your title?
Well, I am the Vice Chair of the Crime Prevention Council.
Now, I like the name prevention because it sounds funny, right? But a lot of people say, oh, you can't prevent things. I say baloney, you sure can if you know what you're doing, right? So you were setting up this panel that I interviewed about 5 people from. It was fascinating. A lot of these people had expertise in vertical markets for human trafficking, child exploitation and stuff. There's an attorney in there. It's fascinating discussions. How did this panel come together? And I noticed that a lot of them were not ASI's members, which is another interesting thing. So tell us about that.
Well, yes. I can attribute most of that to our chair, Deyanira Murgo. She has a fantastic collection of professionals that she works with, and many of them are not ASIS members, but they are professionals in their own right. And we brought this group of 4 panelists, experts in their own field, to talk about a very, very important subject, and that is youth exploitation, not just in this country, but globally.
Right. And it is a global problem, I think, because of the explosion of the internet. This problem's always been around. Do you feel it's exponentially grown because of the internet? Is that kind of feeding all this? Seems to me it is. There's just a hunch.
Yeah, well, and your hunch is correct. The internet certainly is, with most children able to get hold of smartphones these days, tablets, and that's not just children who are in wealthy countries, but in developing countries as well.
Well, I was at Black Cat a couple months ago, and Leapfrog, the children's company, they had an exploit in their little tablet where basically some bad guy put some software in an app that allowed them to talk to every single child in the world on a Leapfrog. I mean, we're at a point where when that stuff happens, we're talking about something way beyond your average crime. This is something we need to get way in front of.
Oh, indeed. And one of our speakers, a tremendous speaker, Miss Aftab, she spoke, particularly she was speaking in India, and the mothers there were telling her that the children were picking up thrown away iPhones and tablets and so forth, and what the predators were doing were they were putting chips in, and these chips already talked about sexual exploitation of children, so they were already being sort of groomed for their next step.
Fishing.
Exactly.
They're throwing out a phone as fish and bait. Wow. That's unbelievable.
It was scary.
Yeah. Well, how do we get ahead of this? I think awareness is number one, but I find when I bring this up at a cocktail party, people kind of walk away and get another drink of soda because it's too horrible to talk about, I guess. And I find a lot of people don't believe what I'm telling them. It's like, no, that's not possible. Yeah. 1 in 10, I guarantee you somebody on your block is involved in this. How do you get past that?
That's what the panel was trying to put across to the security professionals, and you had attorneys there, you had people that dealt in cybercrime, you had people that dealt in human trafficking, not necessarily security professionals in their own right. But adding a piece to it. And a lot of times what you heard was, you need to catch children when they're very, very young. We're talking 5, 6, 7-year-olds, because the gangs are doing it. They're exploiting them at that age.
Wow.
The predators are doing it. And it's at that young. People start thinking, oh, no, it's maybe when you get into a teenager.
Right.
No, you're already too late.
Right.
And it's not just a government job. It's a social job. It's parents, it's teachers, it's federal government, but it's also the agencies as well. So, that's what we were hearing in the panel, and that's why we thought this panel was really, really so important.
Well, it's funny you should say that young age, because some other stats I've heard, which, may not be 100% accurate, but I think they're pretty close, is that in the old days, we thought when Billy disappears, Billy was kidnapped and he was murdered. Not necessarily. Billy might be living till he's 16 or 17 and just kicked loose and said, okay, pal, you don't remember what happened to you because we got you when you were 5. And now Billy's wandering around like with no identity. I think this is happening a lot more, Tim. This is really scary.
Yes, yeah, I would tend to agree with you. You're finding, especially immigrant children who are coming over and being exploited. So one of our panelists was making the difference between, smuggling, which is literally getting people to pay money to get them from one country to another, and the other is the human trafficking part, where you're then using them. You're using them either as domestic servants without any money, or you're getting them involved in crime, or you're literally getting them involved in, obviously, sexual exploitation.
So I ask everybody the same question, and nobody has a great answer for it, so I don't expect one, but why is this not at the top of the 7 o'clock news every single night, 7 days a week. Why isn't this a worldwide initiative? I don't get it.
You know what? You've taken the words exactly out of my mouth. I don't get it either. This council has been involved in this. We've presented now 2 or 3 seminars annually concerning the exploitation of our fellow humans, and now especially our youth. And if our youth are us tomorrow, we're in real trouble.
Yeah.
And, I wish I could say, oh, yeah, this is the reason why they're not doing it. I don't know why. I don't know why this doesn't grab the attention, because it certainly grabs everyone that I speak with, and everyone that attended this seminar said the same thing, that this was a fantastic presentation, and everyone came away learning something new,
Well, it
including
seems
me.
like you're on the case, though, and we just slowly but surely we got to keep pushing the word out there and getting people to do this.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you,
guys.
Chuck.
Pay attention, get involved in this. It's happening on your block. I guarantee you. In your 12 houses there's one house that has something going on with this in some aspect, right under your nose. So let's stop it, because we can. It's something we can actually stop. Give us your name and website one more time.
Oh, so that's Cerberus.consulting, but Stephen Hollowell. And Chuck, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, back tomorrow on GSX 2019 here live from Chicago. We'll be on the floor tomorrow, so tune in starting at 10 a.m. Chicago time. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.